Hi, everybody. Happy Thoughtful Thursday. So, today, this is your shared reading and constructive response video. So, we're going to continue to work on making connections, okay? And that means we're working on 3 ways of how to connect with our books for this week. One way is text to self, and that's asking, has anything in this book ever happened to me in real life? Your life experiences. That is connecting a book to your life. Text to self. Secondly, text to text. How do you remember connect? We make our links, connect. How do you connect one book to another book? Has something in this book happened in another book that I just read? We're thinking about that. That's text to text. And then text to world. What I'm reading right now, is that what's happening in the world right now? These are making connections. Everybody say making connections. Making connections. Your I can statement today is, and this week, I can make connections to a non-fiction text. Connecting. What? What is a connection? A connection is when you think about something you already know to help you understand what is happening in the text. How? Remember, we just went over our anchor chart for this week. Text to self. Text to self. Ask, has anything in this text ever happened to me? That is text to self. Text to the world. Ask, what do I know is happening in the world, right? And how can I connect that to the text? Text to text, remember, book to book. Ask, has anything in this text ever happened in another text I've read? Why do you need to know about making connections? Either text to self, text to text, or text to the world? Here's why. Good readers make connections to help them understand information in the text. Practice this. Making connections. Practice it because you're going to need to know this for tomorrow's test. Okay, here we go. Today's story, we are going to read Simple Machines at Work. And all this week, we've been talking about simple machines, and we've been talking about how machines make our lives easier and our lives better. So, for example, a lawnmower helps us keep our yards clean and cut, right? Because otherwise we would have to cut the grass manually with our hands and maybe large scissors cutting, right? And then a vacuum is another simple machine that helps keep our carpets clean. So let's continue to talk about simple machines. When someone says the word machine, do you think of a slide or a jar lid? These objects really are machines. They are called simple machines. Simple machines help you do work with less force. There are 6 kinds of simple machines. Have you ever seen any of these machines before? To understand how simple machines work, you need to know about force. Force makes things move. You use force when you push against something or pull something. So right now we're reviewing. So we know that these are inclined planes, wedges, wheels, pulleys. We've learned about all these. Let's continue. Look at the pictures. In one, a boy is lifting a heavy box. In the other, a boy is using a ramp. It takes less force to slide the box up the ramp than to lift it up. A ramp is a kind of simple machine called an inclined plane. So you see those 2 pictures. You see the boy, he's lifting a box, and then he is sliding the box up a ramp. It takes more force to lift up and carry than it is to simply slide it up an inclined plane. Inclined planes make it easier to move things up and down. The road in this picture is an inclined plane. The slide on your playground is also an inclined plane. And you remember how we learned a plane is a flat surface, right? Flat. Everybody say flat. Like the kitchen table, flat. Like the floor that you're on, flat, right? That you walk on, flat. But once it tilts like a slide, it is now inclined, and it's now called an inclined plane. A wedge is another kind of simple machine. An axe is a kind of wedge. It goes into the wood and splits it apart. So this is what a picture of a wedge looks like. So right now, I want you to think about it. I know we're all at home, but where have we seen a wedge at school once we were there? Think about it. What do we use wedges at school for? Just take a moment and think. I'll tell you. We use wedges every time that the ocean room used to go to the bathroom. What did you think held the door? Yes, I know you're saying, well, we used to hold the door, Mrs. Jackson, and I get it. But there was a little wedge cone that we had to prop open into the door. That is called a wedge. That was a simple machine used to just stop the door so that everybody would be freely able to come in and out of the bathroom. You didn't know that we use wedges every day, right? A screw is also a simple machine. The lid of a jar and the bottom of a light bulb are both kinds of screws. Screws make it easier to put things together. Think about the lid on a jar. As you turn the lid, it screws down onto the jar, closing it tightly. In the pictures above, you see levers. A lever is a simple machine for pushing things up. When you push down on one end of the lever, the other end goes up. Remember? Like a seesaw. Like this. Right? Like that. Did you know that a seesaw is also a lever? Remember how I told you when one side goes up, the other side goes down. And when the other side goes down, the opposite side goes up. Seesaw. That's what a lever does. A pulley is a simple machine. A pulley, remember, is a simple machine used for lifting things. When you pull on one end of a pulley's rope or chain, whatever is on the other end goes up. The child in the picture above is using a pulley to hoist the flag. The last simple machine is a wheel, but I'm going to stop right there. Here's the picture for the pulley. The last simple machine is a wheel and axle. The axle is kind of rod or bar that goes through the wheel. Together, they turn and help things move. Cars, remember we talked about that. Cars and bikes have wheels. If their wheels fall off, it cannot move. The wheels and the axles keep it moving, right? Cars, bikes, and wagons all use wheels and axles. Simple machines make it easier to do work, but they let you move an object with less force. People have used simple machines since long ago. We still use them today. All kinds of workers are glad to have simple machines. So I want you to think about what is something people use simple machines for. We've been talking about them all this week for our shared reading and also for science. We've been talking about simple machines. So we know wheels is used on a car. If you get in a car every day, if you ride your bike, those have wheels. If you open or close your blinds, you might use a pulley to get them open. We use simple machines every single day. Once again, your I can statement. I can make connections to a nonfiction text. Okay? That's your I can statement. We're talking about connections. There's 3 ways. You can connect the text to self. Ask, has anything ever happened to you in the book? Text to text. Is what's going on in this book going on in this book? Or text to world? Has anything that's happening in the world right now going on in the book that I am reading? Right now, I want you to click on the Google form that is below and complete your constructed response. Your constructed response question today is, why are wheels and axles important? Remember, they work together. Why do we need them? Boy!